But first, I want to share a little bit how I got here. Now, there's another item. You go down and it'll say bad customers, toxic customers. So Eileen handles all my social media, and she's quite a salesperson. I have to tell you, share with you how she got, we're friends, we're having coffee, and she says, you know, your social media page sucks. And it's like, that's one of the best closers I've ever heard. You suck at this. And I'm like, okay, you got my attention, I'm on board, how can we do this? So terms and conditions. Eileen says to me, here's my terms. It's gonna be this much per month. I expect three pieces of content from you. So how I got here is I didn't keep my end of the bargain. So we're in this together. You have to realize that your customers are your partners. So Eileen and I partnered up, and I agreed to pay her X amount of dollars per month, and she said, I will do a great job for you. But my terms are, you gotta get me those 3 pieces of content. You don't do that, and it's not gonna happen. So, terms and conditions. So each one of these items, I'm gonna tell a little story or share a demo with a lesson to take away, and you should apply it because it will up your probability of being success, and you'll be eating steak instead of hot dogs. So, the first one, I'm on a 15-minute clock right now. Jackie's timing me. So, right off the bat, terms and conditions. So Eileen says, I call her up because I've been a bad customer. I want to apologize and thank her for her patience. So there's the first trap is friendness. We're friends. To know Eileen and her family is to love her family. So friendness. I forget all about business. And she says, hey, what are you doing Thursday morning? My speaker canceled. Can you speak? What do I say? Because I'm a little bit guilty dealing because I'm been a bad customer. I say yes. I forget all about my terms and conditions. And then she says, you got 15 minutes. Takes me 15 minutes to tell a joke. So then I'm like, all right, I lost that battle. Speaking for free. I'm driving 45 minutes. This is not good business, folks. So typically on a gig like this, I get $500. If expenses are involved, it could be $3,000 if I'm flying, staying at night in a hotel. So right off the bat, I put my foot in it. So how this leads to feast or famine is it's because the real cause is cash flow. So what I did is I pulled the rug right on from under my cash flow. So you should be monitoring your cash flow. So if your cash flow, and I mean weekly, if your cash flow looks like this, and then like this, bump, 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 and like this, that's feast or famine. That's cash flow, cause and effect. So right off the bat, that's my introduction. So the clock doesn't start until after my introduction. I want 3
You're
minutes.
already at 10 minutes and 45.
I want 3 minutes back. I want 3 minutes back. So that's how that works, is you have to adhere to your terms and conditions. Real quick story, I won't say who it is, but I deal with a big company. I'm from Corning, New York, you fill in the blank. Okay, Corning, New York, they call me up and they say, hey, we need somebody, got your name from the Performance Excellence Group, we need somebody to be in the plant this week and do process audit. I'm like, okay, I'll drop everything and do that. What they didn't know was I was famine. Okay, I'm eating hot dogs. And so they said, plant manager said, what's it gonna take to get you here? I said, I know that process, I've looked at that process. It's gonna take $2,000 a day, 5 days. He says, okay. Next thing you know, I get a call from purchasing. It says, come over, sign the contract. So they shoved the contract under my nose with all the pages flipped up, sign here. Must have thought I was a fool. Flipped them back down, started reading it. He's got me down to $1,000 a day. And I said, it's 2,000. He says, our terms, Corning's terms, we don't pay any consultant $2,000 a day. Well, I know that's not true. And I said, well, that was the deal. And I walked out. So we lost a day. I had to be there immediately. We lost a day. I called the plant manager, said, not gonna be it. Terms and conditions. He goes, I'll make a phone call. And he made it happen. So you have to be able to stick by your terms and conditions. And the magic word is policy. Terms and conditions are negotiable. And that's where you get in trouble. You start negotiating back and forth and you end up in an unfavorable position. Policy, if you say, it's our policy to maintain this. So it's my policy to show up, give you a quality talk. In order for me to do that, I need more than 15 minutes. So I run the risk of not giving you a quality product because I didn't negotiate on the time. So here we go. I gotta speed it up. Define a good customer. I'm gonna talk fast now because she's got me on the clock. Now, you gotta participate. I don't want you to say 15 minutes are up. I want you to give me 3-minute intervals. So what did I do? I negotiated back my terms. If you want me to stay on the clock, you gotta work with me. So work with me. So I gotta pick up a little pace here. What's a good customer? Good customer is someone who pays you on time. Realizes that's a partnership. I'm not speaking to you. All of us are in this together. My job is to make sure that you leave tonight or today with one thing that you can apply to your business that will help you with your cash flow and put you in the steak line instead of a hot dog line. You know when you're standing in the hot dog line and that truck rides by with the lobster on one side and the beef head on the other, and you're in the hot dog line, you want to jump on that truck. So, a good customer pays you on time, realizes they have responsibilities, they have to keep their end of the bargain up, and they promote your business. I promote Eileen all the time. Every time I can, I push business her way because I want her to be successful. Is it just me being nice? Actually, it's not, because if she's not successful, I don't have a social media person. My LinkedIn page will go back to sucking again. Okay, where are we at? Somebody tell me. We're number 3, right?
Yep.
Toxic customers. Okay, right now, I want you to think about your toxic customers. Toxic customer. And I can tell you right now, think of 5 of your biggest pain in the ass customers. And I'll tell you right now, they pay you late. They demand everything and they pay you late. And they don't promote your business. You need to fire them. Just get rid of them. And here's how you do it. Not nasty about it. You call them up. Here's the magic word. Our policy will no longer allow us to work with customers who do not pay on time.
6 minutes.
Okay. And you will be surprised what happens. You're going to lose some of them and other ones will get on track. Okay, now I'm going to fast forward to my favorite part. How many saw ESPN? Anybody see ESPN? If you saw it, you would see the name in big bold letters at the bottom of the screen. Michael Cendoma. That's my son. Everything I'm sharing with you today works because I shared it with him to help him grow his company. Didn't give him money. I didn't have any money. When he started his company, I was like this. But he put those principles to work and he has eclipsed me. He is a high achiever. I'll tell you real quick. Remember when Damar Hamlin had that crash, stopped his heart? It was my son's training and preparation that saved his life. He trained all the NFL teams on how to respond to that. Now, how he got on ESPN is because one of the trainers that was down on the field got interviewed by ESPN, and he was a good customer. He paid my son on time, but he even did something more important. In front of millions of people, he said it was the training from Sports Medicine Concepts, Michael Cendoma, that allowed me to do that. Bam! ESPN is like, Who is Michael Cendoma? Next thing you know, he's getting calls. NBA, he does all the NFL teams now, does the NBA, MMA, he even does the Rockettes. Because believe it or not, when they're kicking, they fall off the stage and they have to have some kind of prep. Little secret, when he makes the call to the Rockettes, his wife goes with him. She won't let him make that call alone. So everything I'm sharing with you is not just something that I read. It's something that I put to work in my own business. And I shared it with my son. So I'll give you the whole thing. And there was a little bit of tension one time. Interesting. So my son invented a tool, which is a face mask removal tool, which allows you to remove a face mask from a football player who is down in a compromised position and not breathing. So last thing you want to do is take his helmet off. But you can clip his helmet off, get oxygen to him, get him ready at the hospital in 2 minutes or less. So my son is feast or famine. He calls me up and he says, man, it's killing me. And I said, do this. You've got to up the price of the tool. I told you that from day one. And he says, you keep telling me that. And I said, every time you call me, I tell you that you're not selling the tool for enough money. And he says, yeah, but my competition is selling the tool for 39 bucks. And I laughed. And he says, I'm having trouble selling it for 159. I said, you should be selling that tool for $395. And he goes, I'm having trouble selling it now. And I said, that's because you're pricing it out in your competition. The competition's tool does not work. You've got the only car in the NFL that actually does its job, starts, runs, works. So he finally, and I said to him, I said, look, got a little heated. I said, maybe we should just cool it for a while, father and son, not talk about it anymore. So finally he calls me up and he said, hey, I upped the price. Now I'm making the margins I should. The other lesson is that tool is seasonal, feast or famine. So now, down to the last part, what's your business gonna look like 5 years from now? What are you gonna be doing? You should be focusing on that. If you're trying to feed your mouth and your kids and pay the bills, you're not gonna have any money for innovation. You're not gonna have any money for creativity. My son's tool doesn't even look like the one he got his patent on. He sells that, doesn't even pay attention, it just sells. He was on board, remember the movie Concussion? My son was on board 10 years before that movie came out. He opened the first concussion clinic in New York, possibly in the Northeast, maybe in the US. He bought a treadmill and hot rodded it. Instead of it just going up like that, moving like that, it goes like that. Does all kinds of things. He puts a camera on the person's eyeballs, and he looks at somebody who's had a concussion and can tell whether they should be back into play. Every doctor will pass that person. My son won't pass it. And that's where that whole concussion protocol, which he was instrumental in getting the NFL to change the way they do that. Because you've seen it. If any of you played sports, you know the term, got my bell rung. And you see athletes come off the field and a little wobbly, what do? They go over and they stand towards the end. They don't want the coach to see them. They don't want the trainer to see them. They want to go back in and play again. That's the worst thing you can do, because it's not the first concussion. It's the second, the third, and all the concussions after that that cause you mental breakdown. So my son was instrumental in that, because he answered the question, what do you want your what do you want your company to look like? Who do you want your customers to be? Well, what's my market? My market is not the NFL. My market is the sports world. Thank you, dear. My market is the sports world. No helmets in the NBA. What can I do? There's 32 teams in the NBA. In the NFL. There's 70 teams in the NBA. Why don't I go after them? What can I bring them? Heat stroke management, that's another one. How about EMTs? The high school level, the college level. Where can I plug in to different markets? So instead of my markets going like this, my markets go like this. And you just even out that cash flow. Now I have money in the bank, so what am I gonna do with that money? I can be innovative, I can do more market research, and I wanna end with this, because I think it's critical. A couple of rules, universal rules, and I shared one with Nick. It's absolutely impossible for me to help you become successful without becoming successful myself. It's like a universal rule, and I love it, because that's what I do. I go out and I help people. So, here's 3 other rules. You want to avoid mixing up sales, marketing, and you know where I'm going. Sales, marketing, and advertising. Real quick. Advertising. Who, what, where, when. How can I get a hold of you? What do you do? How do you do it? How can I get a hold of you? Throw in a little entertainment. You got a good advertising. Marketing. Marketing is all about gathering data. Sales is about bringing home the bacon. And you've heard the expression that the more arrows in the quiver of a salesman, the better off he can be. Where do those arrows come from? Those arrows come from marketing data and what advertising. Advertising develops a lead. Marketing says, this is where the world is going. And I got a great case history in marketing. That's another 15 minutes for another time. So, if you're mixing up your sales and your marketing, you're wasting dollars. Feast or famine. So when you start monitoring your cash flow and finding out where your cash is going and the effectiveness of your dollar, cause and effect. You're doing this, the cause, the effect is feast or famine. So you want to be looking at, where is my business going to be? What's trending? What's trending right now? Give me a guess. What's trending right now? AI. So first thing I look at is I'm starting to look at AI. Now, am I going to become an AI person? No, but I got a friend of mine that's really into it, and he's fearful of it. And I said, no, you want to dive into it as much as you can, because AI is just a tool. AI, and I'll let you on this. AI is what's trending. How do I jump in on what's trending so I can modulate the sales? And AI is just Google on steroids. Thank you.